Thanks for joining us for this COVID-19 and city news briefing for Tuesday, December 8th. We will jump straight to hospitalizations because that's the main concern today. As of this morning, between Merit Health Wesley and Forest General, there are 104 people in the hospital with COVID. And of those 104, 39 of them are in the ICU. And as you can see from this chart, we're breaking some new ground. Obviously, the early August spike was the last time we got over 100 hospitalizations and up in the high 30s and even to 40 in ICU. But today, we unfortunately hit some new territory. Hattiesburg Health System has hit an all-time high now in COVID-related hospitalizations with 104. And based on what we know about what's going on today, that number could get higher in the coming days. We'll talk about that in just a second. Statewide today, 1,732 new cases. Unfortunately, 56 new deaths were reported statewide, and while none of those 56 deaths came from Forest or Lamar counties today, we did have 3 new deaths over the weekend in Forest County, and we send our thoughts and condolences to those families, which brings the total number of COVID-related deaths in our community to 90 in Forest County and 50 in Lamar County. In terms of new cases today, Forest County added 37, Lamar County added 17, and since this began, in March, Forest County has seen 4,203 total cases. Lamar County has seen 3,222. Our 5-day average, what was very concerning toward the end of last week, especially on Saturday and Sunday, is our 5-day average went to 89 new cases per day in our whole metro area. With a couple of days where we've fallen short of the 40 and 50 mark, that number has come down. But still, when you look at the entire length of this pandemic, we've only been at 70, which is what we're at now, a handful of times, and so a lot of reasons to still be concerned. The inside 14-day number is the number of people who have received their positive test result in the last 2 weeks. This gives you an idea of how many potential active cases and sick people we have in our community right now. And in Forest County, that number is up to 522 potential active cases. Lamar County is at 404. And again, got into some new territory over the weekend, just under 1,000 active cases in our own community. Again, with a couple of days falling under 40 and 50 in each county, that number's come down, but still well above 900. A lot of things to be concerned about as we look forward. Just compared to a week ago, last Tuesday, Forest County had 437 active cases inside 14 days. That number's at 522 now. Lamar County had 365 people who had their test in the last 14 days, 404 right now. So all in all, in the last week, we've gained another 126 potentially active cases in our community. Hospitalizations, kind of the same story. We were at 88, which is a high number for us then. That number's now up to 104, and our ICU admissions have jumped from 28 to 39. We review these goals because I want you to know the power that you have and that we have together to try and meet those. And so goals are protecting the vulnerable, which right now there are a lot of people who are vulnerable, people over the age of 60, people with underlying or chronic health conditions during a time of the year when people are particularly susceptible. Second goal is preventing overrun of the healthcare system by slowing the spread. And so speaking of hospital capacity, as of this morning, we're keeping an eye on this because we have so many COVID-related hospitalizations. But as of this morning, Forest General had 7 acute beds available and 1 ICU bed available. Merit Health Wesley had 8 acute beds available with another 4 ICU beds available if needed. And they're already in their sort of expansion backup plan. And so as you see this, understand that hospital capacity transitions throughout the day. So in the morning, you'll see hospitals discharge a lot of patients. But as the afternoon comes, particularly during the week when you have surgeries happening and when you have people going into the ER, that those numbers throughout the afternoon are going to continue to rise. And so we'll get our final bed capacity as we get closer to the 5 o'clock hour, but it stands to reason that we're going to stay potentially in the single digits when it comes to available beds in each hospital for the next little while. The 4 things that we really push in trying to slow this thing down are making sure that there's widespread availability of testing, wearing masks individually, watching our own data, listening to all voices. And because we're in such a peak right now, I want you to know there are places you can go to get tested if you're not feeling well or if you've been exposed to someone. So the Hattiesburg Cough and Fever Clinic, which has been operating since day 3 of this pandemic, 49 South, it's open 8 to 4 Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this week. Merit Health Wesley, the rest of this week, 8 to 5 at any of their outpatient clinics. The Cedarwood Community Center is a free testing center that the city supports. That's available Wednesday and Friday from 8 to noon. The Forest County Health Department on the bypass, 42 bypass, they're doing drive-through testing Wednesday and Friday from 11 to 6. You do have to book your appointment and answer some screening questions by going to covidschedule.umc.edu. And if you're in Lamar County, you can go down to the Purvis Health Clinic in their downtown area from 11 to 6 on Thursday. But bottom line is we all need to do our part right now. This is fixable. This is solvable. But it takes all of us doing the right thing, and that's wearing a mask, practicing social distancing, and avoiding unnecessary gatherings. Usually we say avoid large gatherings and avoid large crowds, but right now, any gathering has very high potential that someone in that gathering has COVID. This is particularly dangerous when people are not wearing masks. So let's do our part, and particularly if you are sick, it goes without saying if you have been diagnosed with COVID, you need to be at home. But if you are sick, please stay home. One, you may be symptomatic and haven't gotten your test back yet. We don't want you spreading COVID unknowingly to someone else. And secondly, if you are sick and you get COVID by being out, the reactions could be more adverse. And so, if you're sick, just stay home, quarantine yourself, and let's all do the right thing. Several bits of city news for you today. This morning, we administered the oath to 2 new police officers and 4 new firemen. This is the first time we've actually done a joint ceremony to swear in both police and fire, but it takes our fire ranks back to 120. It takes our police ranks to 105. This was actually the last swearing-in ceremony that Chief Parker will administer as Chief of Police, and we appreciate not only him being there and all the things he did to get more laterals to transfer into the Hattiesburg Police Department. We appreciate his many years of service in law enforcement. Also on Monday, we cut the ribbon on the newest mural in the city of Hattiesburg. This is the Your Life Matters mural. It's located at Ebenezer Baptist Church at the East 8th Tennis and Basketball Facility. Of course, your 1 cent helped build a basketball and tennis facility that is very much used in that neighborhood next to Chain Park. Pastor Carlos Wilson then came to Hattiesburg Alliance for Public Art wanting to do a mural, and that partnership spurred on, which is now one of my favorites in the city. A great job, a really inspirational, encouraging mural for those who use the park. And finally, our act of courage. This week is Week of Giving for Chick-fil-A 98 location. And each day you can bring some donation to support any of the 3 organizations that are doing a lot in our community. So tomorrow, on Wednesday, you can bring a donation of family-sized canned goods for Edward Street Fellowship Center. On Thursday, you can bring unwrapped toys or non-perishable foods for the Salvation Army. And on Friday, you can bring toys and books, non-perishable foods, kitchen utensils that will go to benefit children's services. But because the dining room is closed at Chick-fil-A, you just pull into the parking lot. You can drop off your donation, and each day they will be giving some food item in exchange for your donation. We appreciate Chick-fil-A leading from the front, particularly during a very challenging time. As we continue the week, remember to wash your hands, take care of yourself, wear a mask if you go out in public, do only what is essential, and remember, you're safer at home. Have a good day.